Hello students, in the last class we have studied finite sets, and in that article we have studied definition of a finite set, then we have studied the definition of cardinality of a finite set, then we have studied some lemmas and theorems based on the finite sets. Now in the today's class we are going to study the countable and uncountable sets. But countable and uncountable sets, this article only its definitions are in our syllabus. Theorems and lemmas are without the proof. So only definitions of this article are in our syllabus. Therefore, we are going to study those definitions now. So let us begin with the definition of infinite set. Before going to the definition of infinite set, first of all we will revise what we have studied in the last article, especially about the definition of the finite set. So we have defined the finite set as a set is said to be finite if there is a bijective correspondence. Bijective correspondence means 1-1 and onto mapping of the set A with some section of the set of positive integers. That is, the set A is finite if either it is empty or if it is not empty, then there should be a bijection F from the set A to the set having members 1, 2 up to n, which is actually the section of set of positive integers by the integer n. Okay. Next, and we have said that if the set is empty, then its cardinality is 0, and if there is a bijection F from the set A with the section of set of positive integers by the integer n, then we say that the set A has its cardinality n. Okay, this we have studied. And we have also studied some results in the last class. Now we are going to define the infinite set. So the definition of infinite set is a set A is said to be infinite if it is not finite. What does it mean? So it is not finite means, first of all, it should not be the empty set, and number second, there should not exist a bijection between that set A and any section of the set of positive integers by the integer n. Okay, then it will not be a finite, and then we'll call it as an infinite set. So definition is a set A is said to be infinite if it is not finite. The second definition is the set is said to be countably infinite if there is a bijection from the set A into the set of positive integers. Okay, see here we are defining the countably infinite set. The set is said to be countably infinite if there is a bijective correspondence, means there is a bijection from the set A to the set of positive integers. So like such we have defined the countably infinite set. Next one, example first, the set capital Z of all integers is countably infinite. Why it is countably infinite? Because if we define a function f from the set Z of all integers into the set Z plus of positive integers, such as f of n is equal to image of n under the function f is to n if n is greater than 0, and f of n is minus 2n plus 1 if n is less than equal to 0. So if we define the mapping in such a manner, then obviously we may check that this mapping is injective as well as surjective, and hence this will be the bijection, and as this is a bijection, therefore the set Z of all integers is countably infinite. Okay, let us check what the images will get of elements of domain under this mapping F. Okay, so we are considering here the set Z and Z plus. Suppose the elements of the set Z are all integers, and we are considering some of them just for the understanding purpose. So elements of Z are minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 and continue. Whereas the elements of Z plus are the positive integers, and we will take some positive integers as the members of the Z plus, and those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. Now, by using the arrow, we will show the images of elements of domain in the range set. So that I am going to show by using the blue colored arrow. So how the function is defined here? Here the function is defined as if n is greater than 0, then f of n is equal to 2n. 2n means twice of the n, which means that 1 is greater than 0. So image of 1 will be 2 into 1, that is 2. Similarly, as 2 is greater than 0, so therefore image of 2 will be 2 into 2, that is 4. Okay, and as 3 is also greater than 0, therefore image of 3 will be 2 into 3, that is 6. So image of 1 is 2. Next, image of 2 is 4. Image of 3 is 6. This is for the positive integers. Now, for the 0 and negative integers, the definition of the function was f of n was equal to the minus of 2n plus 1 if n is less than equal to 0. So, let us consider the values of n as minus 3, minus 2, minus 1 and 0 now. Okay. So, image of minus 3 will be the minus 2 into minus 3. Minus 2 into minus 3 is minus of minus plus 6. Plus 6 plus 1 means 7. So, image of minus 3 is plus 7. So, that I am indicating by the blue colored arrow. Image of minus 3 is plus 7. Okay. Image of minus 3 is plus 7. Next, image of minus 2. Image of minus 2 will be minus 2 into minus 2 means minus of minus plus 4 plus 1. So, 4 plus 1 means 5. So, image of minus 2 is 5. Next, image of minus 1 is minus 2 into minus 1 is minus of minus plus 2. Plus 2 plus 1 means 3. So, image of minus 1 is plus 3. Next, image of 0 will be minus 2 into 0, which is 0 plus 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. So, like such are the images of elements of domain in the range set. Now, here we observe that every element of the domain has distinct image in the codomain. As every element of domain has distinct image in the codomain, therefore it is a injective mapping. And every element of the codomain or every element of the range set has its pre-image in the domain. As image of 8 is also present there in the domain, which is 4, which we have not written here. So, therefore, this mapping is surjective also. So, this mapping is injective as well as surjective. And as there is a injective as well as surjective means bijective correspondence between the set Z and Z plus. Therefore, by definition, set Z is countably infinite. Okay. So, the set of all integers means the set Z is countably infinite. Next, let us consider one more example. Example second. The product Z plus cross Z plus means the Cartesian product of positive integers with itself is countably infinite. Why it is countably infinite? To show that it is countably infinite, we have to define a mapping F from the set Z plus cross Z plus into the set Z plus in such a way that mapping that should be bijective correspondence. So, if we represent the elements of the product set Z plus cross Z plus by the integer points in the first quadrant, then the left hand portion of the figure 7.1, this figure 7.1 we are going to consider to show that it is a bijective correspondence between Z plus cross Z plus and Z plus. Okay. So, that we are going to explain now. So, if the elements are denoted by the integer points in the first quadrant, then the left hand portion of figure gives the counting process. Okay. Means how the bijective correspondence exists. So, for that purpose, obviously this is not a proof, but this is just for the understanding purpose. So, we are going to define a bijective correspondence between Z plus cross Z plus and set A, where A is the subset of Z plus cross Z plus, consisting of pairs, ordered pair x comma y, for which y is less than equal to x, by the equation f of x comma y is equal to the x plus y minus 1 comma y. Then again, if we define a bijection of A with the set of positive integers by the formula g, such that g of x comma y is equal to the 1 by 2 into x minus 1 into x plus y, then obviously f and g both are the bijective correspondences, both are the bijective functions. F is a bijective correspondence from z plus cross z plus into A, and G is a bijective correspondence from A into z plus. Now, as both are bijective, therefore we know that composition of bijective correspondences is again a bijective correspondence. Therefore, GOF will be again a bijective correspondence, and it will be a bijective mapping from z plus cross z plus into z plus, and which then by the definition means that the set z plus cross z plus is countably infinite. Okay, so like such we have the z plus cross z plus as a countably infinite set. Now see here how that mapping is. Image of A1 under F is suppose B1, this is B1 suppose. Image of A2 is suppose B2. Image of A3 is suppose B3. Image of A4 is B4. Image of A5 is B5. Image of A6 is B6, and continued. So if it is considered in such a way, then obviously it is a bijective correspondence, and therefore by the definition the set z plus cross z plus is countably infinite. Now next we will define countable and uncountable sets. Definitions are very simple. Definition: a set is said to be countable if it is either finite or countably infinite. See here how we are defining a countable set. A set is said to be countable if it is either finite or countably infinite. Now finite means either it should be empty or there should be a bijection between the set and a section of z plus by some integer n. Okay, means it should be finite or countably infinite. Countably infinite means there should be a bijection between the set and the set z plus, then it will be the countably infinite, as we have seen 5 minutes before. Okay, next one. A set which is not countable is said to be uncountable. Now if there is some set which is not countable, then we will call it as an uncountable set. Next, there are very useful criteria for showing that a set is countable, and those are discussed in the theorem number 7.1. But as told earlier, from this particular article, only the definitions are in our syllabus. So, we will discuss only the results, means the theorems and lemmas without proof. Okay. So, the theorem 7.1 is, let B be a non-empty set, then the following are equivalent. Number first is B is countable. Number second, there is a surjective function f from z plus to B. And number third is, there is an injective function g from B to Z plus. As we are saying that these statements are equivalent, which means that all they are logically equivalent, which means that the first implies second, second implies first, second implies third, third implies second, and first implies third and third implies first, which in short means that if B is non-empty set, then B is countable if and only if there exists a surjective function f from Z plus to B. If and only if means first implies second and second implies first. Similarly, if B is a non-empty set, then B is countable if and only if there is an injective function g from B into Z plus, means first implies third and third implies first. And finally, next one is the set B is non-empty, then there is a surjective function from Z plus to B if and only if there is an injective function from B to Z plus. So like such 2 implies 3 and 3 implies 2. Like such is the result. This is the important result, but it is without proof in the syllabus. Next one. Next result is lemma 7.2, and its statement is, if C is an infinite subset of Z plus, then C is countably infinite. What is the statement? If C is an infinite subset of Z plus, then C is countably infinite, which in the other words means that every infinite subset of set of positive integers is countably infinite. Every infinite subset of set of positive integers is countably infinite. For example, if we have the set 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 and so on, which is the set of positive odd integers, then definitely as per this result it is countably infinite. Okay, next one is the corollary number 7.3, and its statement is a subset of a countable set is countable. Subset of a countable set is countable means if set A is countable and B is a subset of A, then B must be countable. This is the corollary 7.3. Next is the corollary 7.4. Its statement is the set Z plus cross Z plus is countably infinite. The set Z plus cross Z plus is countably infinite. This is corollary 7.4. Next is theorem 7.5. Its statement is a countable union of countable sets is countable. A countable union of countable sets is countable. This is the theorem 7.5. Next one is the theorem 7.6. Statement of the theorem 7.6 is a finite product of countable sets is countable. A finite product of countable sets is countable. Then after this theorem 7.6, we have the theorem 7.7, and its statement is let X denote the two element set 0, 1. Then the set X raised to omega is uncountable. Means if we have the set having only two members 0 and 1, then the set X raised to omega is uncountable. Like such is the statement of the theorem 7.7. And finally, the last one result from this article is the theorem 7.8. And the statement of this theorem is let A be a set, then there is no injective map F from the power set of A into A, and there is no surjective map G from A into the power set of A. What is the statement? See once again. Let A be a set. If A is any set, then there is no injective map F from the power set of A into A, and there is no surjective map G from set A to the power set of A. So like such are the results. In this article, the results are without proof. So therefore, we have gone through only the definitions and statements of lemmas and theorems and corollaries from this article. So here it finishes this article, which was the countable and uncountable sets. So we will stop here and we will continue with the next article in the next class. Thank you.